Well, good morning. This is Pastor Keith Hodges, and I want to welcome you today to Everyday Sunday. Psalms 118, verse 24 says, "This is the day the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it." Well, today I'm rejoicing because Judge Amy Barrett was confirmed to the United States Supreme Court, which leads me to what I want to share with you today. I want to talk to you today about election 2020. Election 2020. We are 1 week away today, away today from an opportunity, I believe, to vote in probably the most significant election of our lifetime. Now, when it comes to politics, let me just say this today. There are a lot of what I just want to call negotiables. The economy, the environment, healthcare, and immigration, just to name a few of those things, where there's a lot of debate and there's a lot of discussion, and you can find yourself, even as a believer in Jesus Christ, maybe on different sides of the coin. But when it comes to being a Christian, when it comes to being a follower of Jesus Christ, I believe that there are three non-negotiables. There are three things that literally trump everything else that we stand for because they are foundational to our faith in Jesus Christ. So what are those three things? Well, I believe the three non-negotiables that have to discern how we vote and how we stand as Americans begin with this. Number one, I believe it's the sanctity of life. That life begins at conception, that unborn babies are still babies that deserve life. And I just want to encourage you with a thought this morning. Not only are they human beings, but they literally are eternal souls that have been given into the womb by the hand of God. Not only are people, but people are eternal souls. And murder is murder. Hear me today. Murder is murder regardless of the environment that a person is living in. If you're in your bedroom and somebody comes in your house and murders you, that's murder. If you're in your mother's womb and somebody comes in there and murders you, that is still murder. And so as believers in Jesus Christ, we understand that God is the author and finisher of our faith. He is the creator and sustainer of life. And God told Jeremiah that before he formed him in his mother's womb, he called him and anointed him as a prophet to the nation. The Apostle Paul in the book of Galatians says that God anointed him to be a messenger of hope in his mother's womb before he was born. I want you to hear me today that there is a sanctity of life. We have to stand up for the unborn babies. And as a believer and follower of Jesus Christ, we have to stand for life, all forms of life, from the unborn to the aging. We have to stand that every life matters and has value before the Lord because we were created in the image and likeness of God. The second non-negotiable is, I believe, not only the sanctity of life, but the sanctity of marriage. Jesus himself said this. He said, God made them male and female. God made them male and female. God did not make them bigender or transgender. God did not make them lesbian and homosexual. God made them male and female. And for this cause, a man shall leave his father and his mother, and he shall be joined to his wife. The sanctity of marriage. I believe as followers of Jesus Christ, you cannot follow Christ and deny the realization that he recognizes and honors that marriage is between a man and a woman, and that marriage is intended by God to be a foundation stone of our world. So as followers of Christ, I believe we have to stand for the sanctity of marriage. And last but not least, I believe the third non-negotiable is religious liberties. The Great Commission, think about this, Matthew 28, the Great Commission of Christianity is for us to go into all the world and make disciples. And then Jesus wraps it up by saying this, teaching them to observe all things that I have commanded you. What has he commanded us? He has commanded us about the sanctity of life. He has commanded us about the value of every person. He has commanded us of the sanctity of marriage. He has commanded us to preach and teach that Jesus Christ, he is the way, the truth, and the life, and that there is no other way to come to God except through him. And any political party that wants to silence the voice of the church, that wants to silence the voice of the gospel, is a political party that is anti-Christ, that is rising up against the very truth and the great commission that God has called us to. The sanctity of life, fighting for the unborn, the sanctity of marriage between one man and one woman, and the religious liberties and freedoms to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. I believe those are non-negotiables. I just want to remind you of something today. We don't vote for people and we don't vote for personalities. We vote for the policies. Hear me. We vote for the policies that best support our Christian faith. So I want to encourage you to do something. I want to encourage you next Tuesday, I want you to go out and vote for the non-negotiables of our faith. Vote for those non-negotiables of our faith. And I also want to invite you to join us starting this coming Sunday, November the 1st, for 3 days of prayer and fasting for our nation and for this upcoming election. Let's pray and let's vote for our nation and let's stand for the non-negotiables of our Christian faith. And may God bless America.